A very good afternoon from Korat, otherwise known as Nakhon Ratchasima. We are on day 2 of the Boccia competition at the ASEAN Para Games 2025. Singaporean interest coming our way in the BC3 female category. Boccia is for athletes with a cerebral palsy. And Singapore have got a pretty strong squad out here, 5 athletes, all of whom either have made or look like making semi-finals. This match that we've got up now between Nurulasyiqah and Ladmane from Thailand is probably the one in which Singapore have got a little bit of jeopardy. Nurulasyiqah lost 3-2 to Kirana earlier on, and so it means that she must beat Ladmane if she is to make it to the next phases. Ladmane and Kirana drew 4-all in their first preliminary group match. Very, very tight between Kirana and Asika. 3-2 it finished to the Thai girl. So it's win or go home for Nurulasyiqah in the singles. Anyway, she will be involved in the doubles competition, mixed doubles competition. She'll be alongside Aloysius Gan. That's a competition later on. There's Nurulasyiqah on the right of your screen. At BC3, you get assistance with the ramp. You have assistance in somebody trying to help you place the ramp in the right place, but trajectory, directions all come from the athlete. This is Pool A of the BC3 competition. Lee Hye-jong from Korea is your person in charge.
Start warm up 2 minutes.
Mani Klahan, prominent Thai player, competed in the women's at the 2024 Paris Olympics. We look at Nurulasyiqah from Singapore. Nurulasyiqah was the first Singaporean boccia athlete to qualify for the Paralympic Games, making her debut in London back in 2012. So she's been an exponent of this for nearly 2 decades, but at the very, very top level for 14 years. And a 4th place finish at Rio in the pair competition. In the Asian Para Games, clinched Singapore's first ever boccia medal at the Asian Para Games, silver at the 2018 event in Jakarta. And 2025 World Cup bronze, and secured gold at the 2024 Lahti World Boccia Challenger event in Finland. So a competitor. Ladmane. She's been in Singapore back in 2018. She won the Singapore Boccia Open at the BC3 level. Lots of students. It's a fine sporting centre, is Nakhon Ratchasima. And the able-bodied athletes are being brought in to just experience the competition from the para athletes. See the mind working overtime already from Nurulasyiqah. Today, Jovin Tan, despite losing a contest, went through to the semi-finals in the men's BC1 competition. Nurulasyiqah Gan has just finished his contest. Jovin Tan is in the semi-final of the women's BC1, so far so good. Ning is also going to be involved pretty soon. So let's see if Nurul can carry on a good day's work for Singapore athletes at the Boccia. Have 6 balls, and the jack, you can see the white jack is the target. Closest to the jack is the ambition. And if you get 1 ball closer than your opponent, you pick up 1 point in that end. You can pick up obviously a maximum of 6 points. So 2 minutes warm-up is complete. Let's see if Nurulasyiqah can propel herself through. She had a very, very tight 2-3 loss to Kirana earlier on. This is her first action today. Up and running. It's a very short jack that's been laid. Right then. We'll have a little bit more time in the BC3 category. 6 minutes were on the clock. Accuracy is there. Further away from the jack. Calculations being made, and went to go for power. Doesn't really work for her. All it's done is move the jack a little bit further away, which makes her calculations a little bit more difficult. One of those leather boccia balls has disappeared into the distance. Not been able to knock the red ball out of the way. It's a second ball coming in from the Thai. Same intention, same result. This one a little bit better as far as she's concerned, and that she's been able to knock out the defensive ball that had been put in place. Had the calculations, the mental calculations. You can see she was trying to beat Nurulasyiqah's ball out of the way, and that's successfully done. Now a little bit more finesse is required. Well, that's nicely done. That's almost perfect. Really nice judgment coming in. And she's put a block there as well, so that puts Nurulasyiqah in a difficult situation. She can either consider to blast out this, but that's beautifully calculated. The half roll of the Boccia, and that is absolutely perfect. Now then, although the ramp may be outside of your box, the wheelchair may not be. Still on a high, I think, after winning her first ever individual World Cup medal at Beijing last summer. Yep, she's tried to blast blue out the way. It's not quite been effective. Out there, the Boccia rolls and rolls and rolls, but I think blue still has the advantage. Blue is the colour of the tie. So Nurulasyiqah has to do her calculations once again. A little bit more finesse, maybe just trying to roll this one up to the jack. Fair ball from the Singaporean. Ooh, just slightly short. Just didn't get the calculations accurate. I think she'll need to go bronze. Well, this could be very similar, where she maybe just tries to knock into the ball that she's just put in. Helpers are doing is responding to the instructions. They can't have any contribution whatsoever. Important ball, you feel? Nicely played. Really beautifully. The camera didn't see it, but look at that. Absolutely perfect. Cannons off her own ball onto the blue. Doesn't quite displace the blue, but gets herself right adjacent, and there's some good defensive work there as well. Definitely one red counting, maybe two. For full power. Around from Ladamani, and yes, well done. Knocks one red ball out of the way. So red will have to play again. Good competition. Nurulasyiqah's calculations, she's got to be aware that if she knocks her own red ball, it could be to her detriment. How far up the ramp? It looks like it's going to be quite a way, so she's looking for pace and power here. Maybe trying to knock blue out of the way. It's dangerous, or even better, she's calculated. Knocks her own right onto the jack ball. And that regains the points for Singapore. Piles of pressure on, lots of tension in this particular end. Well, she cannoned her own ball onto the jack. Got the calculations spot on. From the tie, powers, but that makes, well, that just makes Nurulasyiqah's job a little bit easier. She's got two balls in position now. Rifles down the ramp, but all it did was help the Boccia balls from Singapore and move the jack closer. It is a double jeopardy for the tie. Tai has played her last shot. And the Singaporean with time on the clock. Definitely got two balls in play here. Can she improve on this? Looking for power. Rolls a long way, and so Singapore will have the victory in this first end. Two, I believe. Yeah. to red. So Nurulasyiqah in the first end has the advantage. Nurulasyiqah, that's an excellent start off the back of a very, very tight 3-2 loss to Kirana. That will give her a lot of confidence. And Jack this time will come with the Thai, Ladamani. Going for a short Boccia. Indeed she has, just over the gain line. The Jack has the first ball. It's nice and tight, good defensive position. So that angle shows you exactly the problem that Nurulasyiqah might have. Just a little bit of a sight line down to the right. To her right, or screen left with that ball. Trying to knock the blue ball out of the way. Really didn't get that one right at all, did she, Nurul? So we're going to lead 2-0. Calculations going on this one. She got the trajectory all wrong last time. Not quite so aggressive. Changing the angle just to try to get the one on the right-hand side of the blue ball. That's better. That's much better. That's beautifully judged. She took her time. She took a lot of her allocated time there, did Nurulasyiqah. But she completely changed the strategy, and that's beautifully done. That's as good as it gets. Now she'll ask questions about the strategy. the tie. And for Power, does well to get her own ball out of the way. Now that gives her a potential clean shot. It's a good strategy. It's not so much about that ball. That ball just clears the way. Now she's gotten a opportunity to maybe attack the ball of Nurulasyiqah. Again, looking for the power play. Boom, doesn't work still. So 3 times now. Mani has tried to get Nurulasyiqah out the way. That one a little bit more successful, and it separated Jack from Nurulasyiqah's red ball. This one a little bit more about finesse. There's the space, and there is the finesse. Really nicely calculated. Speed and angle. And regains the initiative. There's Ladamani, but it took her 4 balls to do so. And Nurulasyiqah has got a chance to maybe get rid of that blue ball. Calibrations on the ramp. A bit of pace here. Oh, has it been enough though? That blue ball didn't roll away as anticipated. No, red is going to have to go again. That is still a blue advantage. Well, it was a nice idea. Probably just not high enough up the ramp. Not quite enough pace to take that ball out of play. Ponders this one. More of the same. There's barely a change in angle. She's got her own red ball to aim for here. Oh, okay, she's got closer. Now that is tight. It might just be a 1-ball red. Cannoned off her own. Yeah, indeed it is. She's regained the initiative in this end. Nurulasyiqah. Didn't change trajectory. So 4 balls each. Green's working overtime. Sort that one out. I don't think that's been enough. Yeah, blue are going to have to go again. Ladamane is not afraid to try to blast the balls out of the way. This looks like it's going to be very, very gentle. Not going to be successful. 4 in a row, but it's red who have the advantage. Is that blue? Well, she's used all 6 balls. Nurulasyiqah. And he's just going to try to obliterate the opposition. There's that little space to aim for the 2 blue Boccia balls. That's what the target is. Getting those calculations right. She doesn't want to knock the jack too far out the way. But she doesn't want to knock the jack out at all. Disruption of the blue balls. Well, there's only one thing in mind here from Nurul, and that is... has it worked? She's managed to dislodge the closest blue ball, but she dislodged the jack as well. That wasn't in the equation. 1 red ball left to go. Blue have played all of theirs. Thailand have played all their potential. It's 2-0 at the moment to Nurulasyiqah. That is very, very tight as to whether she has got the advantage in this end. And so, right, let's repeat that dose. Let's go for obliteration of the opposition. That's what we're chasing here. Opposition obliterated. Oh, successful enterprise from Nurulasyiqah. Not very subtle, but very effective, and it's definitely 1 ball, possibly 2. That's what the calculation is. That ball inside, that definitely counts. So there's 1 for Nurul. She leads by at least 3-0 after 2 ends. And make that a 2 ball. We get confirmation from the Korean referee here. Yeah, it's 2 red. It's a 4-0 lead for Nurulasyiqah in a contest that she must win to make her way into the semi-final. And that's really well done. Nicely calculated, trajectory perfect, obliterate the opposition. And she took both out with 1 ball. For 4-0, Nurulasyiqah. She and Tose Ning are both in this competition in the BC3 category for women. I do hope these kids can get off their phones long enough to appreciate the calculations that are going on in the minds of the Boccia exponents. Third end. Yeah, it's another short jack. Slightly short, but it does the objective, defending the jack. Big guns come out. Right to the very, very top of the ramp. Whoa. Okay. And achieved the objective, removing the red ball out of the way. So, although red has the lead, it's not exactly in prime position, not defending anymore. That's nicely done. Right in front of the jack. That makes any chance to blow it out of the court. A little bit more dangerous because you can take the jack out with you. And this time it's Nurulasyiqah's attempt to dislodge the defensive Boccia ball. Again, successfully done, and now this gives her a chance to get a little bit closer. The big ramp goes out, and the calculating shorter ramp comes in. There is the calculation. Kissing the jack. 4-0 the lead for Singapore's Nurulasyiqah. Good defensive position that as well, because even though the ramp can help her, she can get different angles, the Thai. She's blocked from seeing the jack cleanly. Oh, tried her very, very best to get in between the jack and the red ball. Doesn't quite come out, so it's going to be blue having to play again. Trickles down, did her very, very best. This will be the fourth ball to play by the Thai. Bronze medalist in the Asian Para Games in Hangzhou in 2022. Gosh, it seems like only yesterday since Hangzhou. 2.5 years ago. That one's more successful. Cannons her own ball into the jack. Re-establishes the lead. And also there's a defensive block there as well. Good to see the height of the ramp that comes out for Nurulasyiqah. If Nurulasyiqah can edge her way in this particular end, it really sets her up beautifully for a victory. Win and she makes the semi-final. Lose and she goes home. Oh, from the individual competition anyway. It's a nice idea, but it's blue who hold on to possession. Thailand with the advantage. Just 2 balls left now for Nurul. Time on her side. 1.5 minutes still to get these 2 balls into play. Yes. Cannons her own ball. A little bit of right-hand side, takes it into the correct position. Gets La Damenay back onto woman having to take the initiative. Beautifully done. It will just be one, but one will be a great result in this last end. 2 balls left for La Damenay. And time running short. Into the final minute to get these 2 balls away. Taken plenty of time over this. And it's a successful calculation. Bisects her own balls and goes straight through the middle. And puts the pressure right back onto Nurul. That's a wonderful calculation. Look at the way she goes straight through the middle. The slightest of kiss on the front of the Boccia, the blue Boccia. It goes through that gap. And there's not much of a gap, it must be said, for Nurul to work on. This is her last ball, and she needs to get it played inside the next 30 seconds. A little bit of a hurry from the assistant. Let's get that ball high, high, high. Final 20 seconds. Really is battling against the clock. Did she get her calculations right? Looking to blast blue out, and no, she didn't get the calculations right. That was all just a little bit hurried. So this end is going to go the way of Thailand, and the 4th end is going to be fiercely competitive. And she's made it a 2-pointer. Gosh, those last 2 balls could well change this match completely. The pressure, the time pressure was on Nurulasyiqah. She got her calculations slightly all right. And with a little bit of time to play, La Damenay extends that 1-pointer into a 2-pointer. Used her own balls expertly well. Cannons into the jack ball, and that is a 2-pointer. 4-2, all to play for. If this is a draw, well, then the calculator comes out. If it's a draw, La Damenay goes through. She drew with Kirana. Kirana beat Nurulasyiqah. This pool A is as tightly competitive as you want it to be. Again, a short jack. She's done that well each time that she's had the jack available for her to dominate. Again, obliteration is the byword. Unsuccessful. This lodges the blue ball, though, from the jack, which makes defending a little bit easier. That might have had the desired effect. No, red has got to play again. Third ball for Nurul. She leads by 2. This one she'll be looking to get as close as she possibly can. And that's as close as you can possibly get it. Kissing. Nice roll. That makes it a bit more difficult to knock out of the way. And the tie. Adamane comes back. Made it to the final in the last ASEAN Para Games. Part of a mixed pairs team, but lost to Singapore in the final. And for power, semi-successful. Ooh, that doesn't quite come off. Singapore leading 4-2, and with the advantage, both women have played 3 balls. This is number 4 coming from Ladamay, and that now regains the initiative for her and for Thailand. Nurulasyiqah must come a master's degree in analytics. There's Nurulasyiqah. Needs to analyse everything perfectly just at the moment. Has been in high pressure situations before. She's got time in her hand here. She's got 2 minutes 30, so she doesn't need to rush, but the power play is on. Ooh, has it moved it enough? I'm not sure it has. That still looks like it's blue. And red have to play again. They have to play their 4th ball. At the moment, as it stands, it's just a 1-ball game in favour of Thailand, and that would be enough to send Singapore victory in this game and through to the semi-finals, but it's a very tenuous lead. No, must win. Oh, beautifully done. Squeezed in between the blue ball, cannoned off her own red, and that's given her 2 points. And that now heaps the pressure back onto the mental calculations coming in here of Ladamay. Gosh, you couldn't have placed that better. Right. Well, she took 1 out of the equation, but it's still going to be blue who are going to have to play. Thailand going to have to play this, and there is space to try to take the jack ball away, but that wouldn't necessarily do her a favour. Options are, there's a red ball either side of the white ball, so she can't take both red balls out. Maybe try and cannon off the nearest red ball and try to get blue in, but remember she needs 2. Oh, she good. Just trying to roll up to the jack, but that would only give her a single point. It's really difficult to work out what she got to do here. Not only about this end, this is about the whole match. Okay, she's played. And it's not enough, and that is going to be Nurulasyiqah to take the victory. And Nurul will win this end. And as a result, will win the match. And as a result, will march on to the semi-final. There's no jeopardy here. Let's get this way out of the way. Let's just play the ball. We don't need to be anywhere near anything. Don't cause ourselves a problem. Leaving this very late, only 4 seconds to play. Singapore are out of time. And she took the whole clock. Well, that's okay, because clinical win. A single point for Singapore. And that is a 5-2 overall win for Nurulasyiqah. And that will earn her a place in the semi-final of the BC3 category for women, and she'll go as group winner. Both she and Kirana had victories over. Both had victories, but there it is. Nurulasyiqah from Singapore in a tight, tense, cagey contest has went through. And a place in the semi-finals. I'm just going to recap here the BC3 category Boccia final group match between Damane and Nurulasyiqah. Nurulasyiqah, red ball. And for the first end, it was a 2-ball victory. Second end would be similar as well. Nurulasyiqah going for obliteration. And that was exactly it was probably the most important shot of the day. When we come to the end of this end, these women were looking to get some pace, some velocity on these leather boccia balls. At this stage, it looks all good for Thailand. She tried the accurate route, and that's indeed what worked. And have a look at the final shot. Let's go for it. Let's get rid of the blue balls. That's exactly what she did. She took two out the way, obliterated the opposition, and that gave her a 2-ball victory in the second end, a 4-0 lead overall. It's the third end. Fairly similar scenario. Some good defensive work, and this time the wrecking ball came out from Damane, unsuccessful there. Doing the best just to separate the two. And then there'll be a lovely shot coming in here right at the very end. to make it a 2-point game for Ladamane, and that set us up to a very, very tense final end. It's the fourth of the 4 ends. It was the shot to produce smiles by the Thais, but for the Singaporean, a little bit short, and it's a 2-point result for Nurulasyiqah. A nod of congratulation from Ladamane, and Nurulasyiqah moves on to the semi-final.